All right, buckle up, because today we're diving deep
Oh, deep.
into the world of Gen Z.
A fascinating generation.
Yeah, the generation born roughly, what is it, between 1997 and 2012?
You got it.
Okay, so let's be real. Whether you're working with them, marketing to them, or just, I don't know,
Trying to figure them out.
trying to figure out what makes them tick.
Totally.
This deep dive is for you.
Absolutely.
We're going way beyond, all those stereotypes.
Tired old stereotypes.
We uncover what really drives Gen Z.
Yeah.
And trust me, there's a lot we can learn from them.
There is, one thing that sets them apart.
What's that?
They're the first true digital natives.
Okay, but hold on. Digital native?
Right.
That gets thrown around a lot these days.
It does.
I mean, most of us use technology constantly, right?
Yeah.
So what makes Gen Z different?
It's not just using technology.
Okay.
It's about growing up immersed in it. Imagine a world where Wi-Fi and smartphones aren't something you have to adapt to. They're just there.
Wow.
Like the air you breathe.
So for them, tech isn't some separate tool.
No.
It's practically an extension of themselves.
Exactly. That's how deep this goes.
Yeah.
And it impacts everything from how they learn and communicate to how they view the world.
So our sources for this deep dive dive into some pretty fascinating trends driven by this always-on reality.
Yeah.
One that really jumped out at me was this whole idea of digital fluency.
It's huge.
Huge. So explain that.
Okay, well, it goes way beyond just being good at social media.
Okay.
Think about it. They're not just passively consuming content. They're creating it.
Oh, interesting.
They're coding, building apps, pushing the boundaries of tech in ways we couldn't have imagined at their age.
It's almost like they speak the language of the internet fluently.
Yes.
While the rest of us are still,
Stumbling through
a phrase book.
I love that analogy. That's a great analogy.
And this fluency translates into real-world power.
Yeah, for sure.
Look at their activism, for instance.
It's incredible.
It's incredible how effectively they raise awareness around issues they care about.
They don't.
From climate change to racial justice. But one thing that strikes me as really different from previous generations
What's that?
is their openness about mental health.
It's a game changer.
So, how so?
Well, think about it. They're using memes, online platforms, even humor, to destigmatize conversations about anxiety,
Right.
depression, things that were often swept under the rug before.
Interesting.
This is a generation that's not afraid to say, hey, I'm struggling.
And that vulnerability is inspiring others
Totally.
to be more open about their own mental health journeys, which is huge.
It is. They're normalizing these conversations
Right.
and creating a culture where seeking help is seen as a sign of strength,
Okay.
not weakness.
So this focus on being genuine seems to connect to another big Gen Z trend,
Which is?
their obsession with authenticity.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Like they can sniff out a fake a mile away.
Oh, absolutely.
Why do you think that is?
Well, think about their world.
Okay.
They're bombarded with carefully curated content,
Yeah.
influencer culture, airbrush perfection everywhere they look.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting. Exactly.
So authenticity is almost like a rebellion against all that fakeness.
It is. It's a way of reclaiming their individuality,
Oh, okay.
of saying, this is the real me,
Yeah.
in a world that's constantly pushing them to conform.
And this desire to express their individuality
Uh-huh.
also shows up in what our sources call their customization culture, right?
Exactly.
So explain that.
Well, think beyond just personalized playlists
Okay.
and Instagram feeds.
Okay.
It's about curating every aspect of their online experience
Interesting.
to reflect who they are and what they value.
So they're not just passively consuming what's given to them. They're actively shaping their digital world
They are.
to fit their own unique identities.
And that's incredibly powerful. They're taking control of their narratives and using technology to build a world that reflects their own vision.
It's inspiring, really.
It is.
But it's not all sunshine and roses for Gen Z, is it?
No, it's not.
Our sources also highlight some pretty major challenges they're facing.
Yeah. Growing up as a digital native comes with its own set of hurdles.
Okay.
For starters,
Yeah.
they're dealing with information overload on a scale we never had to.
I feel that even as a millennial, it's like trying to drink from a fire hose.
I know, right?
There's just so much coming at you all the time.
All the time.
Now imagine being born into that.
Oh, Okay.
Being constantly bombarded with news, social media updates, opinions, notifications.
It never ends.
It can be incredibly overwhelming,
Oh, yeah.
even anxiety-inducing.
Absolute.
I can see how that would contribute to their focus on mental health.
For sure.
They've practically had to develop coping mechanisms from day one,
I would say so.
just to deal with the digital deluge.
It's a lot. It's not just the volume, though.
What do you mean?
It's the nature of the information, too.
Oh, okay.
Think about the constant pressure to compare yourself
Oh, yeah.
to others, the carefully curated highlight reels, the fear of missing out.
Right.
It's a lot to process,
I can imagine.
especially for young minds.
It's almost like their digital fluency is a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it is.
It gives them incredible power and access,
Definitely.
but it also exposes them to a whole new level of stress.
That's true.
And pressure.
And then you've got the economic landscape.
Oh, right.
They're inheriting.
Yeah.
Rising cost of living, student debt,
Don't even get me started.
a job market that's constantly in flux.
It's a lot to deal with.
It is?
I mean, even millennials are struggling with these issues.
I know.
But for Gen Z,
Yeah.
it's all they've ever known.
Right. Many of them are delaying those traditional milestones,
Like what?
like buying a home
Right.
or starting a family, simply because they can't afford it.
It makes you wonder how their views on work and success might be shifting as a result.
How
So, like, maybe the whole climb the corporate ladder thing
Yeah.
just doesn't hold the same appeal
That's a good point.
for them.
They're much more likely to embrace those side hustles,
Oh, interesting.
freelance work, or even completely unconventional career paths.
That makes sense.
Right.
It's like they're redefining what it means
They are
to have a successful career,
totally
focusing more on.
flexibility,
Yeah.
purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and work-life balance.
And we can't forget about climate change.
Oh,
This is a generation
Yeah.
that's grown up
right.
with the very real threat
Totally.
of environmental disaster looming over them.
Which probably explains why they're so passionate about sustainability
Makes sense.
and demanding action from corporations and governments.
I've noticed that.
They're not just buying into those greenwashing campaigns.
Oh.
They're holding companies accountable for their environmental impact
Right.
and demanding real change.
So it's clear that Gen Z is facing some serious challenges.
Definitely.
But our sources also emphasize their resilience
Yes.
and their ability to find creative solutions.
That's true. They're incredibly resourceful.
In what way?
They're using technology to connect with each other,
Okay.
build communities,
Yeah.
and find support in ways we never could have imagined.
It's like they've turned the digital world
Uh-huh.
into a source of strength and solidarity.
Absolutely.
And they're not afraid to challenge the status quo.
Yep.
They're questioning traditional norms and
Yes.
pushing for a more inclusive,
Totally.
equitable, and sustainable future.
So,
What does all this mean for the rest of us?
yeah, good question.
What can we learn from Gen Z?
I think the biggest takeaway is adaptability.
Okay.
This is a generation that's had to adapt to constant change from day one.
Yeah.
They're comfortable with uncertainty. They're quick learners,
Right.
and they're not afraid to experiment.
That's a crucial skill in today's world.
Oh, absolutely.
No matter what generation you belong to.
Sure.
Things are moving so fast, we all need to be able to pivot
Yeah.
and adjust quickly.
And we can also learn from their commitment to diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, that's a big one.
This is a generation that's grown up surrounded by different cultures,
Right.
perspectives, and identities.
It's true.
They're not just tolerant of difference, they embrace it,
And they're calling out injustice wherever they see it.
which is something we can all learn from.
Absolutely. We need to be more aware of our own biases,
Mm-hmm.
more willing to listen and learn from others,
For sure.
and more proactive in creating a truly inclusive society.
And let's not forget about their passion for sustainability.
Yeah, it's inspiring.
Gen Z is showing us that we can't afford to keep kicking the can down the road
Right.
when it comes to environmental issues.
I agree.
They're demanding action, not just words.
That's for sure.
And they're proving that sustainable living isn't about deprivation.
Okay.
It's about finding innovative solutions
Yeah.
and making conscious choices.
They're inspiring us to think differently about our relationship
Totally.
with the planet
Yeah.
and with each other.
Exactly. Gen Z is a wake-up call,
Ooh, I like that.
a reminder
Yeah,
that the world is changing
it is.
and we need to change with it.
So the big question is,
What's that?
are we ready to listen? Are we ready to learn from the generation that's shaping the future?
It's a question we all need to grapple with
Yeah.
because one thing's for sure,
What's that?
Gen Z isn't going anywhere.
Right.
They're the future workforce,
Right.
the future consumers,
Mm-hmm.
the future leaders.
And understanding their values,
Yes.
their motivations, their worldview, if we want to navigate the world they're creating.
It's not about pandering to them
Right.
or trying to become hip with the kids.
Oh, no.
It's about recognizing the seismic shifts they represent and figuring out how we can learn,
Okay.
adapt,
Yeah.
and even collaborate with them.
To build a better future.
It's like they're holding up a mirror to society,
Interesting.
forcing us to confront our own biases,
Right.
our outdated systems, our complacency.
It's easy to get caught up in the stereotypes or dismiss them as just another young generation.
Right.
But what we've uncovered in this deep dive
What's that?
is that Gen Z is so much more than that.
They are.
They're complex.
Yeah.
They're nuanced.
Uh-huh.
And they're full of surprises.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
I was thinking.
There's so much more to explore
about
their impact on technology, on the economy, on politics, on culture.
And that's the beauty of a deep dive, isn't it?
It is.
It sparks curiosity.
For sure.
It opens up new avenues of exploration.
Yeah.
It encourages us to keep learning.
The world and Gen Z are constantly evolving.
That's true.
And if we want to keep up, we need to be willing to embrace that change.
Okay.
To challenge our assumptions.
Right.
And to keep asking questions.
Yeah. So to our listener, I hope this deep dive has given you some food for thought.
I hope so.
Maybe it's challenged some of your preconceived notions about Gen Z.
Maybe.
Maybe it's sparked a desire to learn more.
Possibly.
Maybe it's even inspired you to make some changes in your own life.
Remember,
understanding
Gen Z isn't just about demographics or marketing trends.
No.
It's about understanding the future.
Wow.
And it's a future we all have a stake in shaping.
Well said.
And with that, we'll wrap up this deep dive.
But keep those questions coming.
Oh, yeah.
Keep exploring.
Absolutely.
Keep learning.
Because the journey of understanding Gen Z and ourselves is just beginning to...
Audio Jungle.